Okay, so thank you. We might get started, and if anyone else wants to join us as we go, we can just add them in, but I'm really excited about tonight. Thank you all for joining us. We have the amazing Elizabeth with us tonight, who is going to be taking us through some incredible information around money blocks, which who needs some help with money blocks? Like, if you're not putting your hands up, like everyone does. There's always something that we can improve around money, around mindset. No one has 100% mindset where it needs to be. There's always somewhere we can improve. So Elizabeth is called the spiritual warrior, which I love. She's been in business for 25 years in 3 different businesses, and each step has been an evolving journey for her as she masters skills, gathers different learnings, and moves forward. So for her, though, a lot of it is helping beautiful women like yourselves see things a little bit differently. Now, she does a few different things. She helps you release your inner critic. Who doesn't like, that person that, sits on your shoulder and doesn't like you? Helps women in business, finding our superconscious nature. And what we're talking about today is clearing our money blocks from our past to create an amazing future, which is what we want. So my name is Nikki. For those that haven't met me, I run the Transform, Thrive, Unleash group. We here are about women and improving lives for women, taking them from surviving on the treadmill of life, the hamster wheel, maybe getting a bit bored, and into thriving. And the reason why I started that up is 4.5 years ago, I woke up one morning and I couldn't speak English virtually. No one could understand anything I was saying. And I got diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that day. Now, I've had 21 years in the police force, and it was coming back to my work in the police force that has led me to that diagnosis. So for me, I felt like over time, even before the diagnosis, I'd lost a lot of time. I lost a lot of memories of what had happened, and it made me realize that I had been misdiagnosed and people had missed it earlier on. And so I did lose a lot of time and I lost a lot of things. And now when you look back on it, there's a sadness to it because you feel like you've been living life behind a bit of a perspex glass for a long, long time. And so I wouldn't wish what I've been through on anybody, even my worst enemy. And so I'm so passionate about helping women not get to that point, or if they are, finding a way out, because it's just been a terrible journey for me, and it's something that comes up still day in and day out. And I'm a single mum. I've got a 5.5-year-old boy who thinks he's about 15 at the moment, and keeps showing me how big his muscles are, and he thinks his ribs are muscles, so he keeps breathing in to show me how big his ribs are. I became a single mum when I was 19 weeks pregnant, so that's all I know. Haven't known any different. We don't have anything to do with his father, but we're 2 little musketeers and we have a lovely, lovely life. And if anything, taking from the terrible time of the PTSD, one thing I will say as a positive from it is that I have been declared unfit to be able to work in a normal workplace, particularly in the police force. So I actually get to stay home and work around my son and around my life and around my journey and my recovery. And I get to help women like you. And it really puts a smile on my face. So tonight, what I like to do is once a month bring an amazing speaker, usually a woman, in and invite you all to come and have a listen. And tonight we're super, super lucky to have Elizabeth. I've pinched Elizabeth for quite a few things over time, and I love listening to her. And Elizabeth, I'm going to hand over to you to take us through tonight. And I'm sitting here, I've got a pen and paper, and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Nikki. Wow, what a journey, hey? That's a big story. So thank you for sharing. Can I just ask really quickly how long I've got so I know how much I can take the ladies through?
Yeah, I've always allowed up to 9:30, so an hour and a half. We usually we finish a lot earlier, but yeah, we'll see how we go. Everyone's in different time zones now. It's not crazy.
Yeah.
I usually
I've got about 40 minutes or something.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool.
Release our money blocks. Go for it.
Now let me just share my screen so that everyone can everyone see my screen? Awesome.
Yes, yeah, we can see it.
Excellent. So as Nikki was saying, and thank you so much, Nikki, for having me on, and for everyone that's attending, because I know how precious time is, and if you have seen the value in this, then I want to honour you and give as much value as I possibly can. So tonight I want to talk about clearing money blocks from your past to create an amazing future. And because a lot of things that is in our current reality is actually from our childhood programming. So a lot of things that are going on for us right now is actually unconscious patterns and beliefs from 0 to 7 generally, a little bit further than that, going all the way up to at least 23. But those first formative years is 0 to 7. And so I want you just to think back. Most of us don't have a real recollection of what was going on for us, or especially 0 to 2, or our conscious mind can't recall the memories. So I want you to just think about what you may know about what was happening in your family at that time. How did your parents deal with money? How did the family deal with money? What was going on for your the people that were in your environment? So even though you may not remember what was happening for you, your unconscious actually stores every single memory, and it's a data bank. So it actually has and retains all the memories of everything that ever happened to you from forever. And so even though your conscious mind may not remember, your unconscious is very, very aware of what happened, when, how, and whether it was deemed safe for you at the time, and you would have been created a definition and a belief system around it. So just with a show of hands, or if you want to throw it into the chat box with a big yes, how many people on here remembers hearing at least once from their parents, no, you can't have that toy, we can't afford it? Like, it's just something that naturally happens in families, right? Our parents are unconsciously bringing us up and don't think about the fact that they're programming us in with old patterns and behaviours. So just think about what's going on for you in your family environment, or what was happening when you were a child. Did your parents work for a living? Were they working hard for their jobs? Did anyone own a business, either your parents or someone that you knew? What were some of the beliefs that were shared around money. You know, some of the world beliefs that you hear, money doesn't grow on trees. You know, you got to work hard for your money. You know, don't spend too much. Don't give it away. You got to save it for a rainy day. There's so many even contradictions around money. You know, different ways of, you know, don't have too much because you're greedy, but then don't give it away either, you know. So there's all this stuff that can go around. And I want you to just take a moment and think about anything that you remember hearing as a child, or even now, that comes to mind, because we're going to just go through a little bit of a process. So what is it that when I say money, what comes up for you? What are some of the beliefs that you have? What sort of memories do you have? What are some of the emotions that come up for you? So I'm just going to give you a moment to think about that and just to write some stuff down. So this is just for your own reflection. I'm not going to ask you to repeat it. So just reflecting on how you feel about money now, and seeing if you can even relate it to what was happening to you for you as a child, or some of the memories that you might have. So our unconscious stores everything in our mind as a data bank. And from 0 to 7, we were in a system of working out how is it that we need to be in this family to survive so that we're safe. So everything that was happening to you as you were growing up was a reflection. How do I need to be? I need to be a good girl, and this is how you be a good girl in our family. Then you've got on top of that your culture. There's a particular culture that I've been born into, and this is how we behave in this culture. So we learn the way to behave around all sorts of things, the beliefs of the family, your peers when you were growing up at school, the society or culture that you were in. So you learn all these rules of how to behave and how to be. And it all is actually defined around your environment. One of the things that I tell my clients, or, you know, a story I often say to my clients is the child in a house full of thieves that doesn't steal is the one that gets into trouble. So if you're in a house full of thieves and you decide you don't want to steal, you're the odd one out and you're the one that's in trouble, right? So we grow up with these beliefs, but are they actually real? So before I go any further, I'm just going to share a little bit about who I am, because most of you I haven't had the pleasure of meeting. So my name's Elizabeth Eleanor, and I have been on a spiritual journey. I'm a spiritual energy healer and mentor for about 24 years now. In fact, I'm pretty sure next year is 25 years, so I'm thinking I'll do something to celebrate. And so I've been on a really big journey on a spiritual level. I too have been and still are a single mum, So my kids and I have done it tough. At one stage, I was able to get a house, but we didn't have a bed. So I slept on a quilt on the floor with the kids until we could afford a bed. So I know, I don't know the depths of, I've never been homeless, but I definitely know the depths of, doing it rough when you've got two kids. And so anyway, I spiritually woke up about 24 years ago. Not something that I was expecting. It just sort of happened to me. I went to a psychic, and I didn't actually believe in them at the time. I went because someone asked me to go and kept on hassling me to go, and I went just to so that she would shut up and stop annoying me. And basically through that process, I started being able to feel and experience energies. And so I went on a journey for especially the first couple of years was really tough, because I didn't know anyone that saw, felt, or experienced or believed in any of the stuff that I was going through. And so when I first started, I was doing it all by myself. But what I noticed was that as I went through this process, I recognized that I had limitations. I had all of these things that was holding me back from really experiencing what I truly felt was my authentic nature. And I didn't know how to deal with that or what to do about it, but I felt there was something missing, that we were all not being told something. Has anyone ever felt that there's a little bit more that you're missing, that there's something that there's just this other thing, that if you just knew this, it would be the thing that would be able to change the world, right? And so I went on a quest for a long time trying to work this other thing out. And has anyone ever been into law of attraction, or been on, who here has got a spiritual nature, is understands themselves to be spiritual in some form or other? Yep. Putting your hand up a little bit there, Vicky. So yeah, there's knowing at least that there's something other than us, right? It could, some people have got religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs. I see them all as the same thing. And so anyway, I went on a journey for a long time, and as I've evolved, I've seen the spiritual development realm evolve too. And so there's a time when there was like, we've just got to unpack all of our shadow, we've got to unpack all this stuff about ourselves. And I found that the more you unpacked, the more there was. And it was just all this crap that was like, it was like junk being, constantly more and more was inside of you, and can re-traumatize you in a way when you're bringing up all this stuff, and you can end up feeling wounded and feeling like a victim. And so I knew that wasn't the way. So I got into law of attraction for a while, and that was really good, because I was actually able to create amazing things. But then I found that it worked sometimes, but it just didn't work all the time. Has anyone been in that situation where they've done, like they've decided to create something and they go, woohoo, I've worked it out, and then next thing you're in the same behavior as you used to be? I used to tell myself I'm just lazy. It's just, like I'm not creating all the time because I'm too lazy. Well, what I discovered was I'm now doing a process that I've learned in the last 3 years that actually brought all of the pieces together. And I learned the secrets of alchemy. And so with a couple of mentors, I've discovered what is called recoding, and I'm a certified magnetic mind coach. And so basically what I do now is I share with people how to create from hermetic principles, from ancient wisdom, and The Secrets of Alchemy. So there's a lot of information out there that is only half the truth. And unfortunately, half the truth can be extremely dangerous because you're not actually getting everything, and then you go back into thinking that there's something wrong with you. And it's not true. You're actually not broken. What's happening in the world is we've been conditioned to stay in our unconscious of what I was saying before, that holding all those memories of the past, and that actually is what's governing our world now and our life now. So instead of going, I'm choosing to create this amazing life, what we're doing is we make a decision about what we want to create, but then all of these old patterns and conditions from our unconscious comes in and tells us why it's not safe and why we shouldn't do it. Things like we're not good enough, we're insignificant, we're not capable, we're unworthy. All of these things, we don't belong, we're not perfect. All of these sabotage beliefs come up, and next thing you know, you don't hear them because they've been inside of you for so long that they're now a silent instruction, but you just feel something. You don't, you feel bad about yourself, or you don't feel confident to move forward, or you make an excuse, or you distract yourself in some way. Eating chocolate, watching Netflix, all of these different ways that we distract ourselves from actually living the life that we truly love and the one that we deserve. So what recoding does is I'm teaching people how to create their life by creating and looking and orientating in their genius, in their creative orientation, and then clearing out anything that is causing resistance to that so that they can flow towards what it is that they want to create. And it's an amazing thing. It's actually a leading edge modality. I haven't found anything like it before. It's like the cherry on top of everything I've ever done before. And my whole world has changed. In the last 12 months, my business has increased 60%. I now make 6 figures really easily, and it's increasing all the time. I moved to the beach, to a beautiful place. I can wake up and go to the beach every morning and see the sunrise. I met a beautiful man on the beach, and we've been together now for, well, on the 16th, it'll be the 9th. Oh my gosh, we'll be birthing. I told him on the 8th of the 8th month, I said, we haven't even birthed yet. So, yeah, it's amazing what you can create when you know the steps of how to create. So tonight I'm not going to share with you the steps, but what I do want to share with you is just to unpack some of the stuff that you might have around money and abundance. So who's ready for that? Give me a yes in the comments if you're ready to, yes, to find out a little bit more. Awesome. So I want to start with asking you this question. What is money? So if anyone's feeling brave enough to unplug and unmute, you can. Or if you just want to put it in the comments, that's totally fine. But I want to ask you just to reflect, what is money?
I believe that money is energy and currency. And I really love that I'm living in a world where more and more people are teaching me about abundance and how there's actually enough for everyone. And that's really heartwarming to learn. Yeah,
that's awesome. Thank you, Tara. It's so good, isn't it, that we can actually speak about this stuff now? Yeah. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else want to share? You can put it in the chat if you don't want to speak. What do you think money is? You can't get it wrong. It's only your perception of it.
At the moment, it's a bit like oxygen, isn't it? Money's like oxygen. It's a means to obtaining things that you need.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah. Vicky, are you typing?
Yeah. So like Tara, I think of money as just being energy, but it's actually a contract between the person who is receiving the money. That person does something to receive the money, so it's sort of like an energetic contract.
Yeah.
Mm.
Excellent. Thank you, Jan. Vicky, you're unmuted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I thought it would be quicker for me to say. For me, money is just a means to an end of paying bills and groceries and all that sort of thing. It's just a way of life for me.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you, ladies. Thank you so much, Vicky. Money to me is a measurement. Money to me is a measurement. So it's a measurement of value. So if I've got something that you value, then you will exchange for my services with the exchange of money. So if you've got a service or a product that someone values and they think that your value is worth what you're offering, then they will make that exchange. So it's actually a measurement. And yet, I want you to think about it. How much do we put on it? It's actually an inert object. And yet, we've got all this stuff around it. We've got all this emotion around it. We worry about it. We have moments where we think we don't need it, and then other moments that we do. We feel like we don't have enough. We worry when we get too much, or we don't feel worthy if we get too much. We've got all of these beliefs around it. Yeah, that's money. So Susan's put here in the chat, money is the root of all pain and joy. Yeah. Well, and it's really interesting because that's a belief, right? That's a world belief or a saying, because that's what we're experiencing. But money itself is actually just an exchange of value. It's all the emotion that we put with it. So I remember once my mentor saying, we were doing a exercise around money, and the exercise was about sharing, looking at what your relationship was with money. It's called the 3-chair exercise. And so you've got to, sit as yourself, and then you've got an image. You've got a chair in front of you with imagining money in front of you. And you've got to see it, what does money look like and how do you feel about it and what's your relationship and blah, blah, blah. And so at the end of it, when we were all debriefing, someone said to him, so if money is a measurement, why do we have a relationship with it? And he looked at her and said, yeah, why do we? So why do we have a relationship with money if it's a measurement? He said, do you have a relationship with a ruler? It's funny, isn't it, when you put it like that? But we do. We've got this emotional attachment to having it or not having it. We've got all this stuff around it. And another mentor of mine said that when he's been working with millionaires are never focused on the money. They're always focused on what they want to create, and the money just happens. So when we want something...
In saying that, there are multiple people that are millionaires, and if you look at their emotional state, often those people are very unhappy.
Yes.
The only relationship they have is with money. They don't have relationships with real life people. They're often very lonely, and the only thing that buys them anything or people's emotion is, they invite people out to dinner. They're often not the people invited out to dinner because, and I'm just using dinner as an example.
Mm-hmm.
But I have a friend who is an absolute, like, he has more money than you and I will ever see. And I don't know how rich you are, but I'm not worried about that. But
I know what you mean.
He has an absolute, like, he is a multi-millionaire. Earlier this year, he gave $1 million to St. Vincent's Institute in Sydney, just because he had too much money, he needed to get rid of it. The thing is, he's got enough money to do everything. He is a lonely person.
Yeah,
very lonely, and I think it's sad.
Yeah, it is sad, isn't it? But what I get from that, Susan, is, one of the things with the law of attraction is that it says, you've got to feel yourself as abundant, right? Well, there's so many people that are out there creating abundance, and they've still got a scarcity mindset, right? Yeah. So it actually doesn't have anything to do with how you're feeling as to whether you're abundant or not abundant, whether you're lonely, whether, you can be dysfunctional and still be a creator.
Yeah.
So, but money is ultimately a measurement of value. And the fact that whether you've got it or not, you do not have to change who you are to be able to create. And in saying that, we all have a relationship with money. So as Susan's saying in her example, this guy, that's the only relationship that he seems to have is with his money, right? So we actually create a relationship with money, even though it is just a measurement. It can be inert. And so when you're thinking about how to change your relationship with money, or how to create abundance, how to, live the life that you love, all of it is around creating a choice of how you choose to be. Susan, I'm just going to quickly mute you. Nikki, can you do that? Or just because I can hear background noise and it won't be good for your recording.
Yep.
Thank you, Susan, for sharing. Money is an inert object, and if you want to create abundance in your life, you want to be making what I call a true choice. So a true choice is, what is it that you really want to choose to create? What is it that you want just because you want it? No other reason. You just can see it as being fun and exciting and adventurous, and maybe even your destiny. What are you here for? What do you think, you want to make the mark in the sand for when you're here? What do you think your desired end result is? I want you just to have a think about that. I want you to play and think, if money and time were no object, what would I truly love to do? So hopefully you've got at least maybe 2 or 3 things that have come to you and you've jotted them down. And I want you to look at that list, and just look at that list and ask yourself, what is stopping me from having that now? What's getting in the way and stopping me from having those things? And you'll most probably find that it's beliefs around your ability, feelings of maybe not being able to do it or not being worthy. World beliefs. You might have cultural beliefs about women and whether they're allowed or can do some of the things that you've got written down. World beliefs of, the world's going into chaos, and am I allowed to have this much abundance? Just think about all the things that are getting in the way. So I want to share with you 7 focus points that keep you from actually experiencing a true choice. And just have a look at your list and see if your choices actually are related to any of these. Yeah, a lot of people do that. I just noticed, Susan, that you're chatting to hosts and panelists, which means that only I get to see that. So I won't mention it just in case.
No, everyone can see it because everyone's been promoted to panelist.
Ah, awesome. Okay, awesome. Okay. So that's so true. So many people do that, Susan, is buy and spend, to feel other things in their world. So that's emotional, right? Still got an emotional component to it. So these are 7 things. Yeah, keep listening. Maybe I can help you with that. So these are 7 focus points that keep you from a true choice. So I want you just to reflect on the choices that you've just created, right? So number 1, resolve a negative belief. So your goal is about completing a way you feel incomplete. So if you don't feel capable, you may do something, you may have something on the list to make you feel more capable. Or if you feel insignificant, you've got something on your list that will make you feel significant. Number 2 is out of reaction. So your goal is actually a desire to get away from an unwanted condition or circumstance. Like, I want more money because I'm lacking money now. I want love because I feel lonely. So that's not a true choice, right? It's coming from a lack. Number 3 is limitation. Your goal is actually, that's supposed to say your goal is actually focused on what you think is possible for you, not on what you really would love. So you've actually edited your dreams. You're trying to play small, but actually you've got really big dreams, but you don't think you could do them, so you don't even share them with the world or yourself. So you play small so that you don't have to step out of your comfort zone. Number 4, others' opinions. You're trying to impress someone, or, you know, this one's often, your goal is designed to ensure others are happy. You know, sometimes you become, you know, I remember hearing about a guy that went through dental school for, 4 years or something, and came out and then realized he did it because his parents wanted him to be a dentist. And so after 4 years decided not to be a dentist and went and did art. Yeah, big change, right? So we often make decisions based on trying to fill the void of, you know, being worthy to our parents or being significant to our parents, or you know, someone, you know, I've got a client that it was her sister that was holding her back, and she's got a lot of emotional issues around her sister that we've been clearing. Control. Your goal must show up in exactly the right way. You've got to have it exactly perfect. You can't have it any other way. That's, you know, saying you want an end result of, you know, $200,000 in the next 6 months. For example, that is saying that this is the only way it's going to happen, and you know, I've got to have it this way. Whereas another way of putting that is I choose the end result of having more money than I can spend, right? And just allowing that to happen and manifest. Indirectness. You may be going for a goal which is actually not the end result. So I've had clients that have come to me and said, I want to create a business. That's what I want to create. Well, oh, why do you want a business? Oh, because I need more, you know, financial freedom, and I want to have more time with my kids. No, I don't want to be working at a 9-to-5 job. So actually the end result is that they want more freedom, and some more freedom with time, not actually the business. And the other one's by default. You have no real goal and you think you have enough. That's really playing it small so that you don't have to play full out and actually step out of your comfort zone. So when you're making a choice, you really want to choose from a place of, I just want to experience this. I just want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I'm going to play full out. I'm going to go for this. If you're making a choice for any other reason other than I just want to do it because I love it, then it's not a true choice. And what happens when can everyone actually see me on the screen? Yeah. So what happens, and this is I'm just going to share really quickly the 5 steps of creation. So the first one is that you've got to actually choose what it is you want to create. So you've got to have a point where a desired end result, for example, I choose the desired end result of living the life I love. right? I'm choosing that. And then you've got to feel that, you've got to experience that in your body. And that's the law of attraction sort of stuff, right? Is feeling it in your body, experiencing it now, and imagining that you've got that right now. One of the things that gets lost, so that's number 2. One of the things that gets lost is you then have to look at your current reality. What's going on in your current reality that's causing you not to have that end result? And what you're doing is you're creating 2 points in the field. And Susan, this is what this is a point that's going to help you with what you were saying before, and you can't get out of that setting. This is what I choose to create. This is my desired, and this is my current reality. So now we've got there's tension between the two, and you've got this creative tension. And this current reality is all the stuff that's getting in the way. Well, when you're not making a true choice, and it might be something from one of these lists, you're actually creating another point in the field, in the quantum field, in the universal field, in energy field, whatever you want to call it. So now you've got 3 points, and there's confusion in the vibration. And it distorts the creation. Does everyone get that? So when you're just going, this is what I want to create, and this is my current reality, what we do with recoding is we go up to where those codes came from that caused the resistance in the first place, and we clear them from the original place where they actually came from. And it happens instantly and permanently, and it's very, very easy. And what that does is it then helps you to move towards what it is you want to create. It's an amazing process. It collapses time, and it clears, and it's just amazing how confident and strong and grounded and empowered you feel when you learn this process. So I want to ask you now, what is it that you choose? What do you choose? I want you to look back at those choices that you've just made on your list, and maybe reflect after the session how many of those choices may have, and I'll actually give that slide to Nikki so that she can maybe share it with everyone so that they've got it as a something to look at, and just reflect, what are those choices, and are they coming from a dysfunctional choice rather than from a true choice, and how can I tweak them so that they're actually coming from a true choice. So there's actually 4 choices that everyone should choose, in my opinion. I choose to live the life I love. I choose to live my true nature and purpose. I choose health and vitality. And I choose to be the predominant creator in my life. What that means is that I make the decisions. I'm the power. I'm not giving my power away to other people, to beliefs, to emotions, to food or substances. I make the choice. And when I say predominant because, we drive on the road with other people, and sometimes we need to honk our horn because someone's stupid. None of us created COVID, right, or taxes. We live in a co-creative environment. So predominantly, I'm the creator in my world. Sometimes, things happen. That we're human, we're not perfect. That's the way the world is. That's one of the things that I love about this work, is that I can stop being perfect. So much perfection in the spiritual, personal development growth world, and it can be frustrating. So it's really nice to be able to not judge myself for being crazy and imperfect. But every morning I make those choices. So what's important, ladies, if you take one thing away from this session tonight, is that I want you to remember that every morning you should choose your life. Because if you don't choose your life, someone is choosing it for you. If you put the TV on, you're being influenced by people that are spending millions and potentially billions of dollars on advertising to get your money away from you and to make someone else happy. Or in Susan's case, not happy, because they're sad and lonely, right? But you know what I mean. It's every time you go to put petrol in the petrol station, there's someone, you see the ads. Buy one Mars bar, get one free. And your unconscious goes, oh, that's a bargain. Forgetting, if you hadn't made your choices every morning of having health and vitality, you might get sucked into that, because your choice is a bargain, and your, emotional connection to food from your subconscious. But if you make your choices every morning and go, well, actually, that doesn't align with my end result. My end result is to be healthy and happy and vital and energized. I'm being the predominant creative force. I'm not saying yes to that. And you get to keep your money as well as be healthy. So every morning I make my choices. I've got my own personal choices, but every morning I make those other 4 choices like they're the umbrella. I choose to be healthy and vital. I choose to live the life I love. And I feel it. It takes me about 15 minutes. 15 minutes every day to sit and I just meditate on those choices. This is what I'm choosing. And from those choices, what are my obvious steps today to stay in alignment with that? Now, there's a whole heap more to that, but that's just in a nutshell. There's a whole thing around structure, which is what Susan's talking about, feeling stuck or being in an oscillating pattern where you're yo-yoing backwards and forwards and you can't get out of that pattern. But you want to be in a flowing structure, moving. This is my end result. This is my current reality, and I'm moving through to the creation. So if you're interested and would like to hear more or would like to connect with me, the green one is a 30-minute discovery call where I can do an intuitive reading, just see what's in your field, what lies in your potential, what you're destined for. And the other one, the red one, is to my link tree. So that's all the different ways that you can get in contact with me. Facebook, my Facebook group, which is a Women of Light Movement Facebook group. We've got 1.4 thousand women on there. Really, really beautiful group. My LinkedIn. I'm also just became a meditation teacher on Insight Timer. And I would love for you to go in and check my meditations out and rate it, because when I've been on for a month, if I've got a certain rating, I can then start teaching live on Insight Timer. So I'm very excited about that. I do have a money attraction or attract money meditation in there, and one on clearing chakras. So if you want, if you're a meditator and you want to get some more meditations, apparently I've got a very relaxing voice, I've been told. So go in there, and I'd love for you to rate and make a comment. That would be awesome. So thank you, everyone. I really do. You know, it's been a pleasure sharing with you. Has anyone got any questions or want to ask me anything before I give it over to Nikki? I was comprehensive enough, Vicky. You got it all. Awesome. Thank you. It's been lovely having you here.
I have one question. You know, your QR codes.
Mm-hmm.
So because I'm in this Zoom, I couldn't get them. So where can I get them? Does that make sense?
Yeah, totally. Nikki, do you send out an email tomorrow?
Yes, I'll send something out. And
yeah.
And maybe if you pop the QR codes back up, I'll just take a screenshot.
Well, what I'll do is I'll get Irene, I'll get one of my team to send you the Linktree link and my discovery call link. So then you can just go directly in there. Yeah.
Perfect. We'll get
Thank you,
Susan.
Awesome. Thank you, Susan.
Thanks.
And thank you so much, ladies. I really appreciate everyone that's been here. And thank you so much, Nikki, for having me on. Tara, did you want to say something, or just
wanted to say thank you to you and Nikki for hosting this. It was lovely.
Oh, thank you. It's lovely having you here.
I was watching Tara a lot of the time, and she was smiling the whole way through. And I'm like, oh my God, what an amazing personality that sits there and smiles. It's beautiful. Not enough people smile enough, and it really does make you feel good. So look, thank you, Elizabeth. I think that was amazing. And I saw everyone taking notes, and I think that's good. I've taken lots of notes myself. And, one of the things I wrote down is, what is that power of choice? What power does choice give you? Because we're talking about making true choices. And Elizabeth was talking at the end about saying, I choose, and then having those things that you want to choose for the day. And that's what you decide. Because really it's a choice is a decision, isn't it? And everything starts with a decision. And whether or not it's, something to do with a relationship, something to do with your business, something to do with your personal life, we make decisions about what actions we're going to take, but we also make decisions around how we're going to react to situations. So what is the power of that choice, and what would it feel like to sit in that power, to actually, like Vicky, you were saying, money is a means to an end. What would it feel like if money wasn't a means to an end? Money was simply a part of a choice. And I want you to try and shift your thinking, because mindset and what sort of sits between our ears is what informs us of our actions. And if we have that, like that, we see money as that. In my head, I can see, when people have lost lots of weight and they go and hold up that big blob of fat to say, this is how much weight I've lost. That's the way I see money. Like it's sometimes it can be ugly for a lot of people, you know what I mean? They don't see the abundance of it. They don't see what it could do. They don't see the people that it could help. So when money is something that is just, we need it, it has to pay this, and we're constantly stressed, and we're sitting there and going, right, I've got that expense, I've got that expense, how the hell am I going to afford it? And you're living within that structure all the time. Money is that big blob of fat. We hate it, and it's disgusting, and it's ugly. It was interesting, Elizabeth talking about, putting money on a chair as though it is a physical object, putting it on a chair and looking at what it actually looks like. So I think the biggest thing that I took away from tonight is being mindful around what we're doing, about choices that we're making. Are we choosing to put the TV on? And if we do that, are we, we are opening ourselves up to hear things that then maybe may inform our choices. So being mindful about what we do all the time and having that that sense of no, I won't be influenced. I think the thing is, when you have clarity about life, I always say this, clarity around life or where you're going or who you are, it doesn't matter what influences come in, you won't be swayed. You might actually take some extra things to inform your clarity and make you stronger in different ways, but it won't take you off course. So if you know who you are, like Elizabeth knows, every morning I wake up and I have these 4 choices. Like, she's so, and I could throw a little curveball at her, but she's so strong on these that she might go, actually, I really like what Nikki said. I'm going to kind of take that on board and meld that in. But it's not going to make her go, oh, those 4 choices, throw them out the window. That was hopeless, wasn't it? That's not going to happen. You know what I mean? Because she has absolute clarity that this is where she should be going. So this is where and Elizabeth's nodding, thank God. If she was like going, no, wrong. No, she's nodding, which is good. I want you to think about that, because there's so many things in our life that bring us down. And I want you to come back to going, you know, I take full responsibility for my life. I'm mindful in everything that I do, and everything that I do is choice. Now, you might go, I don't have money right now, but what do you choose to think about money? What power are you going to give money? And what way are you going to, you know, allow it to inform choices for you? Does that make sense? Yeah. So is anyone willing to share anything from tonight about really what has Elizabeth challenged your thinking at all? Because this is a lot of what I like to do, get someone to actually challenge your thinking, where you're like, I was this way, but I think I actually need to look at that. Vicky, I'll throw you under the bus because I know your relationship with money and it's a big thing for you.
Yeah, I like when like Elizabeth said about money, like it's a measurement. Like, I've never actually thought like money like that, like exchanging it like for a value. Like, that really brought home to things for me. Like, yes, you know, oh yeah, you go to the supermarket, you buy your groceries, all that. That to me is just an everyday thing. But when you actually hear those words, I'm like, oh, actually, like when I say money is a way of life, and, you know, bills and groceries and things like that, it really made me stop and think, when you talk what actually is money, like it really isn't just a way of life. It is a whole lot more. It is really like a measurement. It's it is an exchange of services. I need to, and I have just in that short time stopped and thought about things. Even though I was writing lots of notes, I have stopped and thought about how I can tweak things and think about things differently, and make different choices of how I can do things. So yeah, it's made me stop and think of things differently. So it's really good.
Do you want to comment on that, Elizabeth?
That's so. I feel blessed to be able to have supported you in that. And yeah, one of the things that I'd just like to say is, can I ask you, are you in your own business or you work, or?
I do cleaning part-time, which I don't really like, but I do it because, again,
brings in the money. Yeah.
And I have my own MV business.
Okay, awesome. So one of the things to go to that next step with money is a measurement of value, right? So when you value you, measurement will start valuing you. That measurement will show as you go, actually, I'm freaking fucking worthy of everything.
Yeah.
Then that's when things start equalizing the same.
Yeah. Yes.
And you value that, even though you don't like cleaning. You know, one of the things, I've been a cleaner myself. Like, I used to clean when I was a kid. When the kids were younger. That was you know, you got to do it, right?
Yeah.
But one of the things that I do now, like as Nikki was saying about choices, I choose my life. I choose to be the predominant creative force. And one of those things is every time I get a client on, before I speak to that client, before I get on, I choose to serve them at the highest I can, because one of my biggest personal end results is I choose a highly profitable, successful coaching business that I love. I also I'm having fun influencing as many women as possible to wake up to their divine wisdom and their highest potential, right? So every time I get on with a client, before I get on, I choose to serve them at the highest, and it changes my frequency every time. So when you go to your cleaning job, when you choose to love cleaning and to serve those people because at the highest you can, and just find yourself enjoying what it feels like to give them that quality, like it's so, like, I've got a cleaner, so I know, right, when they leave, that like you just feel amazing in the house. The fact that my cleaner has given me that feeling. So value everything that you're doing, because it feels good, right? Doesn't it feel good when you've cleaned someone else, like it, you know, to see that everything's spick and span and that you've done that before you walk out the door? It feels so good.
Yeah.
So when you can change that, you know, I'm doing it because I've got to tell you, there is a little bit of that. You saying that was actually an excuse for you feeling like something else was underneath it, right?
Yeah, I do go in with a smile on my face and as positive a thought as I can. Like, I don't let them, because I don't, it's not house, it's a business I go into.
Mm-hmm.
But I do give them 90 to 95%. I always just hold back that little minute bit. But yeah, I do try to give them like as much of myself as I can. And I
can I pick you up on something, or
yeah.
Can I share something?
Yeah.
What if you go in giving 100% of yourself for you, not them?
Yeah.
It's got nothing to do with them.
Yeah, well, that's what I probably, I do. I need to change, because I always think of them, not me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because when you think of them, it's the people pleaser, right? Which is not good enough. Yeah. And so when you're going in, regardless of who you're working for, why you're working for, when you go in because you're pleased with who you are, you want to give value because of you, you want a clean space, you know, you want to value the service that you're giving, and it's actually got nothing to do with anyone but you, it changes the dynamic. You go out feeling accomplished, confident, strong, you know, feeling like you valued yourself. I'd love to hear from you, Vicky, to see how that goes over the next week.
I did connect with your business thing, so yeah.
Okay, awesome. I'd love to hear back from you. Just tweak that and see how you feel over the next week.
I've written that down. Go to work for me, not them.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Nikki.
Thank you.
That's huge. You know what I mean? Do it for you, not for them.
Mm-hmm.
Tweak that in your life. Just that little bit.
Yeah.
And that's what I love about things like this and any kind of interactions that you have with anyone. You can sit there and it doesn't matter if it's like boring as batshit and it's got nothing to do with you. There'll be one little thing that someone says that you're like, aha, that's it. Change my life.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm really pleased for you, Vicky. I'm really interested to hear how it goes as well. Look, thank you all so much for your time. I value your time, and I know that it is precious. Elizabeth, you've been amazing. I love learning from you. I always learn, and I love that. I've loved seeing you all on. I hope you've taken some value from it, and that you are leaving here with a bit more value placed on yourself. I think that would be wonderful. So we have our next meetup in a couple of weeks. We do a meetup every month around burnout and beyond, which stems back to what I spoke about at the start about really looking after ourselves. So that's coming up in the next couple of weeks. And then 2 weeks after that, we'll have another amazing speaker like Elizabeth, who'll come and speak about something else. So stay tuned. You'll hear from us, but we'll send you out something tomorrow with Elizabeth's contact details, her group, and so forth, so you can, plug into that as well. So thank you, everyone. Have an amazing rest of your night. Oh, that's good, Anita.
Thank you both. Thank you.
And we'll see you next time.